everyone, and welcome to the Mindset Pod. This week I'm joined by Sherry Bevan. So I know Sherry, I've known her for quite a while online, really. I don't think we've ever met in person.
No.
Bizarre. But I know Sherry as the confident mother, somebody that works with women that have been out of the workplace for a while to help them to get back in. But I believe that is just scraping the surface of what Sherry does. I know she has an awesome book club she's just started and things like that as well. So Sherry, why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
Okay, so my name's Sherry, and as Lottie said, I run The Confident Mother, which is an independent coaching practice. I've been running that for 7 years now. So 2012, I set that up. It's kind of almost my anniversary, actually.
Wow.
And so my background is IT. I worked in technology in professional services for many, many years. And because I felt my last sort of paid job, if you like, I was running an outsourcing company, and I didn't feel like I had the work-life balance that I wanted because it was a very small organization. I was the only manager. And so I decided to quit and set up my own business to get more independence and flexibility. And I haven't looked back because I love what I do. I love the women that I work with. So yes, I do work with women who've taken a career break, but also probably most of my clients are women who are in a career and are feeling stuck or lost or overwhelmed or struggling to figure out what it is they really want. Or they might feel they're working really hard, but getting overlooked for promotion and not really sure what or how to do stuff with it. So that's most of my work.
Brilliant. Sounds really exciting, quite varied, right?
Oh yeah, I love the people that I work with. I mean, I love working one-to-one, but I love running when I do workshops and speaking engagements. That's where I get the real buzz and the real joy, because I love being able to inspire other women. So even if they don't decide to work with me, for me it's about inspiring women to step up into their full potential and to, get the most out of themselves and not be satisfied with anything less.
Yeah, totally. I'm very much the same with what I do. It's not about whether people go on to work with me, but the whole of this podcast really is about maybe triggering that little spark in someone that will make them go, I could do that, or I'd have a go at this.
Yeah.
So it's exciting, isn't it, to be able to be at that inception of ideas.
Absolutely.
So how much is mindset a part of what you do, Sherry?
Well, mindset, I never used to describe myself, I don't describe myself now as a mindset coach, but of course, in order to have confidence and self-belief, and in order to call upon that inner confidence and that inner strength, basically that is mindset. I don't know that undoubtedly there's an official definition for mindset. For me, mindset is about how what you think and believe affects what you feel, and obviously whatever you feel is going to affect your behavior, and of course whatever you think, whatever you say, whatever you do, that's going to affect the results that you get. So really everything I do is about mindset, but I don't describe myself as a mindset coach.
No.
But mindset is such an important part of kind of getting back in touch with that inner confidence that maybe a woman used to have and has lost, or that sense of self-identity or self-belief. Very often women, when they've taken a career break to bring up children, they lose confidence in themselves. They've lost that identity they had when they were in a career.
Yeah.
And they've become the woman that does the cooking, the cleaning, the nappy changing, the reminding everybody that it's World Book Day today and dressing up for this and that costume.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they might have previously been running a big business or running a big team,
yeah.
And so then when you're not doing that anymore and you're not surrounded by other people doing that, you kind of lose confidence that it's a bit like riding a bike. If you learn to ride a bike when you're a child and then you haven't ridden a bike for 10, 15, 20 years, you think, I'm not sure if I can really do this. But if everybody else around you just gets on the bike and pedals away, then you just kind of get on and do it and just think, oh God, actually I'm doing it, it's okay. But if there's nobody else around you, then you keep looking at that bike and think, oh, I don't know if I can do that still, don't know if I can remember how to pedal, don't know if I can still balance. But once you get back on the saddle, it's okay, but it's getting back into the saddle that's the hard part.
Definitely. Yeah, and I guess very much with you, that's a great metaphor actually, because that now, you know, if you haven't ridden a bike for 10, 15 years, the roads are busier and different and stuff like that. Same for you with people going back into the workplace. You know, I think people worry about the technology differences and things like that, you know, how the environment has changed while they've not been a part of it.
Yeah, and that's a big fear for a lot of the women that I work with. They worry that things have moved on. Technology. I was at an event last night actually talking about the future of work and how much technology is affecting us and affecting the types of jobs that are going to be available in 10 years' time. The types of jobs that maybe we might have had ambitions to do 10 years ago aren't maybe going to exist in 20 years' time. And so the workplace has changed hugely. And for a lot of women, that's something they're really scared about. Like, oh gosh, you know, we've now got digital marketing, digital content, digital this, that, and the other, you know, lots of ways that we've got good things, like we've got good remote access from your corporate workplace now, and we can access our email on our phones, which has its pros and cons. But yeah, technology has a huge impact on the way that we work, and it is transforming the careers available to us.
Definitely.
Which is a bit scary if you've been out of work for 10 years and then you go back and think, well, that career doesn't exist anymore. Not in that format anyway. I was just talking a couple of nights ago to a marketing manager, had a big team before, ran a big department only 5 years ago, but she feels so out of touch because it's now all about digital marketing and digital engagement. And she feels like she needs to retrain in order to be able to compete in the marketplace.
Things have changed so much, haven't they? I was having a conversation with somebody just a few days ago about when I lived in Africa, which was 9 years ago, and about the photos that I had from that. And I haven't got that many photos. And then it suddenly clicked to both of us that actually I had to take a camera with me. You know, there was no iPhone with a camera on. I think iPhone just existed. But, you know, the majority of us did not have that smartphone with the camera on and things like that. Whereas now we're all carrying these things around in our pockets. You know, so technology has just changed so radically, hasn't it? I can understand how that would be a scary thing for people to go through.
Changing, and it's changing so fast. I mean, I've been in technology since 1987, so quite a long time. And I feel lucky that I joined the industry at that time because technology moved so fast between kind of 87 and 97, but it's still continuing and I suppose really it hasn't slowed down. So I feel blessed that I was lucky enough to join an organization at a time when technology was changing so quickly, because it meant that I just grew and changed and evolved with it. And you know, some of those, you know, when I joined that firm, I didn't know that I was going to end up loving working in technology so much. And I think with technology in particular, I think a lot of people think of technology as being a geeky industry, that it's full of coders and hackers and
spotty boys.
But there is so much to it. You know, a lot of it is, in my favorite part of technology is helping businesses apply the technology in a way that makes sense for them. So yes, I have done coding in the past, and I have done hardware in the past, and I've done kind of like desktop support and service delivery and account management. But for me, it's about helping people get the most out of the tools that they have and using it in ways that are going to make sense, which I suppose really is what I'm doing with the women that I work with. I'm helping them use their tools, i.e. their skills, their talents, experience, to get the most out of themselves. But there's so much variety now in that industry that it's a great place to work.
Yeah. So changing the subject slightly, but talking about having your tools and your skills to help you get through things. You got thrown a bit of a curveball last year, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Yes. So last year, which completely out of the blue, I went from I'm at that age where I get regular mammograms, went along for my regular screening, and then I got a letter to say, do you know, I had a gut instinct when actually at the screening, because she said to me, oh, was that your left breast, wasn't it? And I thought, well, you're the one doing the pictures and everything, that. But the very fact that she double checked that was my left breast, I thought, interesting. But anyway, so I was diagnosed with breast cancer, picked up in very early stages. I had surgery 4th of July, I think it was, or 3rd of July, which went very well. And then, so excuse me, and then I had radiotherapy treatment in September. And I think I look back now, and it was, at the time, it was a really horrible thing to go through, very scary when I was first told about it, because actually the scary thing wasn't being told you've got cancer. The scary thing was telling my kids I've got cancer.
Gosh,
because,
yes, I can't even imagine.
That's and I'd been very open and honest with them right from the start. So when I got the call back to go for a second screening, so excuse me, I didn't hide that from them, but which in some ways made it harder when I got the diagnosis. It then made, because then I tell them the truth, because and authenticity is such an important core value for me. So the scary part was telling my kids. That was the hardest part. But then it takes a while to recover from surgery. You're in, I think I was in surgery for about 2.5 hours, something like that, in theatre. And it's the recovery, it's the physical recovery. It wiped me out for about 5 or 6 weeks. And then just as you're starting to feel a bit more normal again, then you start the radiotherapy treatment, and that completely wiped me out for about 3 months. And that's, I wasn't anticipating how hard, how grueling that is. And I'm used to being very active and very busy and to be doing lots and having lots of energy. And then suddenly I was at this point where I had to have a snooze in the afternoon at 2:00 because I'd burnt out for the day. And so then I'd sleep for 2 or 3 hours, and then I'd have a kind of a second energy thing around about 5:00. But then I'd need to go to bed at like 7:00 or 8:00. And it was just unbelievable. And took, it got to the point about 3 weeks before Christmas, I was starting to think, well, this is it. This is the maximum energy I'm ever going to have again. This is crazy and ridiculous, because I was still getting very tired at the end of a day at work. But it was round about Christmas time really that now I feel normal again, and I've got my normal energy levels. But it has really, of course, made me reprioritize my life and think about what's most important to me. And because I was a bit of a workaholic, so I'm currently working on an IT contract for a charity that I've been very involved with for years. So I was running my business, semi-sabbatical for the business really, and working for the charity. But what I found was I couldn't do it all, and I worked shorter hours for the charity while I was recovering from radiotherapy. But it made me really appreciate how important it is to spend time with family and just doing nothing, just like watching the TV and reading. And in fact, that's how my book club started, because I thought, I've got all this time now to read. What shall I read? I wanted to catch up on all these personal development books as a coach and as a mentor. There's so many amazing books out there. And so that's really what started the book club, because I thought, well, let's find some books to read, but there's so much choice, and I didn't have the energy to go to bookshops. And you go to Amazon, you think, oh wow, I've been recommended so many books, where do I start? So I looked for a personal development book club, couldn't find one. So I thought, oh well, maybe there's a niche in the market just waiting for me to fill. So I started, and it's amazing, and I cannot believe the impact. Our first book, which is Joyful by Ingrid Fettel-Lee, I cannot believe the impact it's having on the women who've joined the book club, on their lives, which is exactly what I want. I want women to grow and develop and do something amazing with their life. It's brilliant. I love the book club.
So unpack that book club a little bit for me, because I'm listening and going, ooh, book club.
So the book club,
send people the books, or
so it's a subscription book club. So because it's personal development, and I think it's really important that when you read a book, that you actually do because normally with personal development type books, they've got activities and exercises in them.
Yes.
So I think it's really important that you do those exercises, get the learning, and then put it into practice.
Yes. That's what I'm always telling my clients. They go,
I
read, I'm a badass at making money or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes. But what were your takeaways?
Exactly. What are your takeaways?
Yeah, exactly.
And we're all going to get something slightly different from every book. So that's really what the club is. I send the book. I choose the book. I send the book. I'm only choosing female authors because that's part of my diversity thing. You know, I only use female quotes.
I have to apologise to any men watching the podcast. We are not anti-men at all.
No, I'm not anti-men.
But I love the idea of really raising up.
I'm not anti-men at all. You know, I work in a male.
Yeah.
I've worked many years in a male technology environment. I'm not really a girly girl, but this was my way of raising awareness of female authors. So yeah, I send the book. It's all beautifully packaged this month because it's joyful. Every book was wrapped up in sparkly paper because sparkle is a way you get joy into your life. There's a little package inside for when they get to page 60. I don't know whether to say what the package is, what is inside the package, in case any of my book club subscribers on there. But
let's keep it a secret.
Yeah, keep it a secret. But there's something for them to open when they get to page 60 that is relevant to that page.
Wow.
So obviously, that's my way as an action taker myself to get them to get started, to at least get to page 60.
Yes.
And then, so we've got a private Facebook group where they're all posting what they've learned so far, and they're showing pictures of things that they're finding in their house that are bringing them joy. And then what I'm hoping with each book club is I'm always going to do a live Q&A towards the end of the 2 months so that they can share ideas, share challenges, find their learnings. And what I'm noticing is everybody's learning, taking something different from the book. But what I'm also hoping is that I'm hoping that I can persuade each author to come and do a live Q&A session with me as well, so that we can get more insights, find out what prompted her to read this book, you know, what's been the outcome for her. And, you know, maybe if there's a chapter in the book that we didn't understand, we could ask her questions. So, well, that didn't make sense to me. What did you mean? So, yeah, so it's really exciting. And my very first job ever was for a publisher, and I love books. I've got so many books. So
me too.
It's just like, oh gosh, why didn't I do this years ago?
Yeah.
But then that's what having a significant event like cancer does for you, is it makes you reprioritize your life. And I read Tara Moore, Playing Big.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read her, but she talks about, obviously we all have an inner critic, but she also talks about listening to your inner mentor. And I did that exercise because I am the person that takes the personal development book and does the exercises.
Yeah, good.
And my inner mentor told me, because I was undecided about whether to launch a book club or to whether to launch a career competence hub that I already had created and developed.
Yeah.
And my mentor told me, go with the work that brings you love, it brings you joy and happiness. And it took me a while to figure it out. If I was at my normal energy levels, it wouldn't have been an issue, but because everything was so muted while I was going through radiotherapy, I couldn't feel emotions. And actually I worked with Carrie Eddins to help me figure that one out. She could tell by listening to me talk. And I'm so glad she persuaded me to go. Well, she didn't persuade me. She just told me what she could hear from my voice and my energy. So I decided to go with the book club, and it's been the best thing ever, because I'm reading some books that I'm trying to find books that maybe women won't have already read.
Yes.
Lots of people have read Sheryl Sandberg, Lean In, or Tara Moore, Playing Big,
Yeah.
In Sinclair, as you mentioned earlier, the badass at making money. But I'm trying to find books that are a bit different, that you might not have come across before, but that are going to help you grow if you put it into action. And that's why it's only every other month, because you can't possibly put, I just don't think it's reasonable and feasible to try and learn, because it's not just about reading the book and doing the activities, it's then about putting it into practice every day.
Processing the information,
processing the reflection,
your life in your own way.
Exactly. So I'm loving it. The book club is brilliant fun, and it's I can't believe the impact it's having on these women's lives after just week 4.
So where can people join, Sherry? Where do we go?
They can join. Yes. So if you go to theconfidentmother.co.uk and there's a book club tab on there. Perfect. You have to sign up by the 15th, or I can't remember if it's the 15th or the 18th of the month. I can't remember my own dates now. But anyway, you have to sign up by mid-month, the month before, so that I order the books, the right quantity of books. And then I send them out the first week of so the next cohort will be March, April. And this is all going to be about stretching your comfort zone.
Oh, my
fear, and
I should jump into
doing something that's a bit different.
I'm going to be swimming over there.
So it's all about your comfort zone. And so your books will arrive will get sent out first week of March. So I've got subscribers all over the UK and Spain as well.
Wonderful.
So that gets sent out, and then we do the live Q&A sort of in the second month. So in the first month, it's giving people the opportunity to read. But I also prepare an action sheet to go with each book, so that yes, there are exercises in the book, but I want to try and, if you don't do all of those, at least look at the things that I'm asking you to think about.
Brilliant.
And sometimes on the worksheet I'll refer to page 238 and things like that, so that people, as a way of kind of stimulating curiosity and getting them to think, let's go and look at page 238. What's that all about? So I'm really excited, because it's well, you can probably tell I'm loving it.
I love the idea of it. I am definitely going to go and check that out. I think it's a great idea. I love reading anyways. So the idea of reading together and growing together from that is like something really magical, actually. Brilliant. So look, I could talk to you all day. I think we'll have to get you back on in a few months. But it's been great speaking to you today. It's so lovely to hear some of your story and see the positive impact it's had. I know it must have been absolutely shit for you at the time, but to see that you've blossomed and grown from it, in ways that probably you wouldn't even have imagined 6 months ago.
No.
It's quite incredible. So fantastic to have you here.
Thank you very much.
I'll put the links, anybody watching on the website, I'll put the links to the book club and things like that down below, so people know where to find you. And for now, let's say goodbye, I guess.
All right, lovely. Thank you so much, Lottie. Lovely to chat to you today. Bye-bye.
Bye.